Today, a DUI on campus, UNF basketball on ESPN3, and a strange story from the odd world of Craigslist. That's all coming up right here on Spinnaker News. Hello, Ospreys. I'm Douglas Markowitz, and you're watching Spinnaker News on Spinnaker Television. On January 20th, Jacksonville resident Lawrence Carlton Sibley II was charged for driving under the influence here on UNF's campus. Sibley was pulled over on Eco Road after an officer saw him weave in and out of his lane, strike the curb several times, and ignore a traffic control device. After smelling alcohol in the man's breath and noticing his bloodshot eyes, the officer, who described the suspect as muscular, began a DUI investigation and read him his Miranda rights. Sibley then refused to submit to field sobriety exercises and attempted to pull away from the arresting officer, and bringing him down to Duval County Jail soon became a task requiring 2 additional officers. He was released later that day on probation with the charge of resisting arrest dropped. UNF soon may be able to film, produce, and broadcast home basketball games on ESPN3 thanks to a new partnership between the network and the Atlantic Sun Conference. The partnership began 2 years ago with USC Upstate and Lipscomb, producing a total of 22 games for ESPN2. This season sees the addition of Florida Gulf Coast University and Northern Kentucky joining the producing partnership. These schools have an entirely on-campus production staff that film and produce ESPN quality broadcasts and are streamed via the Watch ESPN app on mobile devices and on ESPN3. So when will you be able to watch UNF basketball games on your phone or tablet? Matt Wilson, Senior Associate Commissioner for Championships and Communications for the ASUN, says he wants all ASUN members producing games by 2015. So, if UNF acquires the infrastructure and equipment needed, we'll be on ESPN by then. And now it's time for weather with Lindsay Kilbride. Lindsay, how are things looking out there?
I'm Lindsay Kilbride here with your Spinnaker News weather report. Today may be a little nicer than the last couple days as they were bombarded with drizzle and fog. We're starting with temperatures in the high 30s. Today is forecasted to be the coldest day of the week, only warming up to a high of 52 degrees. You're going to feel that chill with high winds, so bundling up is a must. The good news is there's a very slim chance of showers, only about a 20% chance, although it will be very cloudy. Now, before I pass it back to Doug, more details on this week's 3-day forecast.
Thanks, Lindsay. A UNF student has fallen victim to a scam on Craigslist. The 18-year-old female student responded to a listing on the classifieds website, which asked her to purchase several items, each of which she would be paid $300 for. The boss then sent a check worth $1,975 to the victim, who deposited it in her account and waited for it to clear, which it soon did. She then received further directions from the boss, who requested the money be sent to a male suspect, a representative of a child care center, as soon as possible, goading her with a story about a child in need of an operation. The victim went to Walmart and sent $1,450 to the suspect in a MoneyGram purchased for $115. Soon after sending the MoneyGram, however, the victim received word from her bank that the original check from her boss was no good. After finding out that the suspect had been arrested on fraud charges in the past, she contacted the police, who are now investigating. And now it's time for sports with Patrick Kavanaugh. How's it going, Patrick?
Here we go!
Well, Doug, I will say this, it is not looking too good in sports. Good morning, UNF. This is Patrick Kavanaugh with your Thursday Sports Report. Let's get started. Today we're talking about the men's tennis team and how they were unable to bring home a win as they played Tulane this past Sunday afternoon in New Orleans. Head coach Mark Finnegan said, quote, "This trip was a great learning experience for the guys to know what it takes to compete against some of the best schools in the nation," end quote. The Ospreys stumbled early as Tulane got out to a 1-0 lead. Norbert Nemsick and Jack Findell Hawkins fell in number 1 doubles to Dominic Kofer and Zhao Chai Shan 6-4. In singles, Nemsick and Findell Hawkins collected the Ospreys 2 wins. The Ospreys opened the home portion of their schedule with a doubleheader on Saturday, January 15th at the UNF Tennis Complex against Georgia Southern and Bethune-Cookman at noon and at 5 o'clock p.m. Well, that's all the sports news I have for you today. Catch me back here on Tuesday morning with more sports news. Also, before I go, do not forget the rivalry continues as men's basketball team plays at JU at 7 p.m. tomorrow. This has been Patrick Cavanaugh. Have a good day, UNF. Back to you, Doug.
Thanks, Patrick. That's all we have for you today on Spinnaker News. For more news, go to unfspinnaker.com, like us on Facebook, or follow us on Twitter at UNFSpinnaker. For Lindsay Kilbride and Patrick Cavanaugh, I'm Douglas Markowitz. Have a great day, Ospreys.